Your market research and voice of customer data is your secret weapon when it comes to writing copy that converts. But it can also be an absolute bear to organize, so it's actually handy when it is time to start writing, especially if you have a lot or an overwhelming amount of it. So how do you organize it in a way so it's neatly sorted and at your fingertips when it comes time to start writing that website, that sales page, or that email funnel or newsletter? Well, from figuring out that headline copy that is ripped straight from a previous photography client's inquiry form submission, or it is a story that you're using in some ad copy that you pulled pretty much straight from a former website design client as they typed up this heart and soul email telling you exactly the phrase they heard over and over in their head before that glorious day where they found you to work with. Or it's a description for your floral design services that you copied borderline verbatim from the comment section of some hilarious Betches article that you found online. Getting your client or your customer's voice hacked and down on paper is key to writing copy that converts. In this video, I'm telling you what to keep in mind and sharing with you some exact ways I organize data as a conversion copywriter for creative entrepreneurs like you. Ready to start speaking straight to your ideal client and increase your sales? Let's go. So let me ask you this. Do you like to give your opinion on things you care about? Yeah, probably so. Hit that like button below if you do. Most of us do. And a survey by Meltwater showed that 73% of us share information because it helps us connect with others who share our interests. 94% of us like to share information to better the lives of others. Plainly put, we like to give our opinion. When you understand that copywriting is all about organizing that ideal customer's feedback and language and not simply just about writing, you can create copy that gets your audience to read, remember, and buy from you. And there are so many ways to do market research. Customer or client interviews, surveys, focus groups, even just looking with your own two eyes at the landscape and reading forums online. Additionally, you can also learn a ton when it comes to research with trial and error of your actual product or service, which you've probably found. Diligent research can help you figure out your price point, bells and whistles to put into your product or service, and so much more. But the shining star, in my opinion, is that it helps you write killer copy. In this video, I'm not gonna focus so much on how to do the research as I am gonna focus on telling you what to do once you get it back and you're trying to figure out how to organize it and use it in a way that helps you craft compelling copy. If you're not doing this type of marketing research, you are not gonna see nearly the sales growth that you would see if you were keeping your ear to the ground and really listening to your people. My students inside Copywriting for Creatives know that I am obsessed with teaching you exactly step-by-step how to launch a survey or get on the phone and conduct interviews for that client or customer voice hacking, because it's important. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna look at is how to organize your research digitally. This is gonna make it so much easier to reference when you're coming back and figuring out how to write that homepage, that sales page, or that email funnel or newsletter. Now, if you are a beginner in getting your copywriting up to snuff in your creative business, this is important, so pay attention here. Why? Well, because your job as the messaging CEO of your business, which you are the boss of, is to know enough to be dangerous about pulling language from a variety of sources so you can organize it in a way that increases conversions. Now, if that makes copywriting sound like all there is to it and it's a cinch, there's a little more to know, but we need to start here because you as the DIY copywriter for your business need to be at least good enough to know what audience language is compelling enough to pull for what you'll hear me call it your copy base. Let's dive in. One of the ideas, I'm going to show you a few, like I said here, that you can do is work in Google Drive, which I love. It's free. You can kind of see where this kind of information is filed in my business. At this point, I don't really have one silver bullet for a copy bank. So work with me on that. I'm going to show you where I started, and then I'm going to kind of show you where I progressed to now. Remember, my business has been in this for about 3.5 years now, so I've got a ton of data that I'm sitting on, and I've found other ways to organize it. But when I got started, this is what I did. So it went in this folder, and what I did was create several kinds of documents. So the first thing that I started with was more of this, which I actually sell a template of in my shop, but you can kind of see I just would copy and paste information that I would find. When something would come in, and I would think, you know what, that is an email that somebody wrote in, or I'll show you in a minute some ways of mining data. I would just paste it in this document. And as you can imagine, years and years down the road, this was way too big. So Let me show you kind of the next systems that I moved to was looking more at creating a Google Sheet and copy and pasting in this language that my ideal client or customer was using. So I also would look at people that were in a similar niche and see what their people said just as information to have. I would look in Facebook groups. Obviously, responses to emails would go in, and I would put them in different categories. And you can see I had this for the different services in my business. Again, this is just taking you down the progression line. This is more of what my CopyBank system looks like now for my own business. Again, not for my clients, but for me. So here you'll see another little, like this is part of that shop item, so you can see. But what I really want you to look at is over here on the side, because that's more of where I keep all of my notes and things that I may use in my writing, CopyBank, WordBank, words and phrases that I want to use, but also research and reference is all in here. So all of these different, let's go back to here. And let me show you what a survey response, this was one of my first surveys that I sent out. But one that was more recently, I may pull this information and copy and paste it in there under different products or services that I wanted to use. In order to get organized, you want to pick your poison with a great free tool that's out there. I think Google Sheets is a great place to start. You may also want to use a tool like Evernote or Trello or Asana. If you are a copywriter and you're managing multiple clients that have multiple products within those, it's going to probably behoove you more to go ahead and bake into your costs a platform like AirStory, which is great for this. For the client side of my business, we work on multiple clients and their products, so it's easier to organize research in an AirStory tool. But for my own business's marketing, it looks a little bit different. It started as simply as a system that I refer to as copy banking, which began in a Google spreadsheet. Now, my students inside Copywriting for Creatives have heard me say this before, but you are going to want to keep your brand messaging style guide pretty close to your copy bank in your files or in your copy bank if you're using that kind of foldering system. This is the document that has in-depth research about your own brand's positioning and voice. To my artsy people, sometimes it's easier to think that that is the mood board for your brand's words. Number 2, the next thing we're going to look at is digitizing any sort of client calls. This may be a kickoff call or consultation, a session itself, or a true client or customer interview that you conducted. A really important thing to remember here is something I say all the time. The best copy isn't in your head, it's in your client or customer's head, and it is your job to go out there and get it. Let me show you an example. For a recent client campaign for a pretty ginormous client launch for a pretty big client, I needed a story or an anecdote that I could use to kick off the Facebook ad copy as the lead for a Facebook that was then going to be driving to a webinar sign up. My client had mentioned a gold nugget on a call. We were just talking on the phone and I said, hang on, pause, I need to record this. So I quickly pulled up QuickTime on my computer and hit record. I wanted to do that so I could just focus on what she was saying, no taking notes. She was spilling out stories from her first use moment with this product that she was affiliating or talking about in her launch. And this story she told me was what her mom said back to her the first time that she mentioned she wanted to teach an online course. Well, it ended up going into the ad copy as one of the 2 leads that we were split testing in ads driving to this webinar. I had a story-focused lead, I had a more controversial-focused lead, and wouldn't you know, the story-focused lead won. The controversial lead was a little bit longer too, which likely affected things. Stories sell. It got to the point faster, and I wouldn't have known about that if I didn't hit record. Let's go over to the tool that I like to use so I can show you how you want to drop in an audio file or a video file of a client or customer interaction you've had so you can transcribe it. I've tried so many different transcription services, including like Fiverr and all those websites. Honestly, when it came to paying and actually getting accurate information back that I could copy and paste and then use in marketing, Rev was easily the answer. There were so many typos and things that we would have to redo every time it came back from other services. So this is the one that we went with. Again, it typically comes down to $1 a minute, which is pretty good. So I just wanted to show you that page. But what happens once we are in an account, for sake of the example that I've been getting, I would be clicking place in the order, and I would come over here and I'm just going to click upload files and bring in this file right here. And you get it. Let's see if it will. Don't judge all of my files downloaded. Yeah, it would just upload it. You can rush it. I've definitely done that before. If you need timestamps, if it's particularly long, you have some other options there you can choose. But I think for the price, for what you get back, it is unbelievably accurate and so helpful in your marketing. The next thing we're going to do is look at our market research organization and flesh it out a little bit more with tagging. What we're doing here is going and looking at those copy bank swipes that you've pulled, and we're dog-earing them based on how you would use them. So this is a project-specific task. I either like to duplicate the data like the Google Docs spreadsheet, or for the copywriters out there, the Air Story project, so then I can go in and tag according to that specific product or service that I'm writing about. When you're tagging and sorting information, also think about the way that works best for you. I've had projects before where I print out all the pages of data I have and use highlighters and go through and mark things accordingly there. Sometimes I just work and tag directly digitally, which is what I'm going to show you. The purposes of this example, I am going to pretend that we are working on getting customer survey information and putting it into this document where I'm going to focus on writing prime to launch information. Maybe it's a sales page, maybe it is the email funnel, that kind of thing. So these are the sorts of things that I want to tag, and all we're really going to do here is go through and copy and paste information from. I'm going to come back over to a survey done. This was a survey that I conducted in my business, got about 500 responses. It was 2018. So let's just first and foremost look and see. There we go. That's kind of what we want right here. So I'm just basically going to copy that. So Command C, and then I'm going to come over, and that is a straight up desire, right? So I'm going to put that right there. Let's go back in and look. See if anything else comes up for launch. Email sequence. Yep, there we go. That would be included. Something, you know, which another thing that I would include is going to be the product. So if the product itself answers this, which this product does, I'm going to put that there. Keys to a successful launch. Okay, not super sticky, not really funny or anything, but just a basic, that's kind of a big idea question that we have right there. That could be totally reused in copy, or it would probably belong there. So see how that works. As a bonus tip, I learned this recently and I thought I would share. When you're on the phone doing those interviews with your clients and customers, one golden phrase you can use is, what do you call that? Instead of filling in the blanks for them and trying to jump ahead and describe things, go ahead and let them describe it, because again, the best copy is going to be in their heads. Pay attention to what they call things. Before you start writing, whether it is your sales page or the homepage of your website, your welcome sequence, or a simple newsletter, or just refreshing your client inquiry magazine, start with your research. Now, if you really want to dive into this and get serious about using client or customer voice hacking to write better sales copy for your own creative business, make sure you look below and grab my free checklist of 44 questions that your website must answer. This is going to give you so many ideas on how you can ramp up conversions on your website using data just like you've put in your copy bank. Shout out to a recent comment that made me smile from Alexis. I always appreciate so much when you guys let me know below what you need or how this has helped or what you want to see next, so keep them coming. You are why I make these videos. If this video helped you out and I'm back from sabbatical making videos again and it feels so good, then take a screenshot and share this out on Instagram so I can tag you and shout you out. Don't forget to look below and grab that checklist of 44 questions that you need to answer on your website, and let me know as well. What is one thing in your business that makes you excited to listen to your audience and get some feedback? Whether it is that inquiry response template refresh or the Facebook ad copy that you've been dreading or putting off, I hope it is a relief for you today, or just a reminder that that copy does not have to be solely 100% just based on the words that your brain comes up with. Thanks always for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.